Hi, everyone. My name is Dame DC Cordova, and I want to welcome you today to Money and Me. How are you? How are you around the world? This is being watched around the world live. Later, it will be, of course, up in the archives of Google. And I just wanted to thank you for taking the time and for being also part of the Aware Show. I like to congratulate Lisa Gar and her whole team. And one of the reasons we're doing this is to keep an agreement with that group, but also because so many of the people around the world have been asking me to do a short version of Money and Me. So let me explain very quickly for you. I am known and have been CEO of Accelerated Business Schools and the Money and You program for over 36 years. And this particular work that we're going to be doing for the next hour is called Money and Me. This is more about me. The Money and You program is 3.5 days. It's a live program with a lot of experiential games, a lot of people involved, and it requires for you to travel somewhere to be there. But this particular work right here is going to be short and fast. We're going to correct, and you're going to have an opportunity to do some clearing, to do some exercises later. And you will have to take the time because the work that I'm going to be introducing has been done by some of the big masters that when you go to my website, when you look around, you will see many of the graduates of Money and You are some of the wealth experts, some of the people like Tony Robbins, Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. My old business partner of 9 years, Robert Kiyosaki, Kim Kiyosaki, his wife, and of course his other business partner later in the years was Sharon Lechter, who's also a Money and You graduate, and many other people. So the reason I'm mentioning all of this is because you're going to have an opportunity to do some of the work that the masters have done. And, you know, it's so interesting because it's kind of almost kept secret. It's almost like there is no awareness of the fact that in order for one to being successful, you really need to have a combination of sound business principles and also the ability to do personal clearing, to reach personal mastery. And just so you know, I have had a mentor, a teacher, someone working with me, what they now call sometimes coaches. I have had a lot of really masterful teachers that have worked with me that kind of are very present time with me, not just have a coaching system, but can be completely there with me since I was just about 26 years old. And I have had the opportunity to work with people around the world that have verified that what I'm going to be sharing with you is something that really works, but it takes a little bit of work on your part. So I like to ask for your commitment that you will listen to this for the whole hour and let go of any judgments that you may have about me, my accent, and you know what my home looks like. I love to do these from home. And also, you know, anything that may be getting in the way of you receiving this information, what I like you to do is I like you to please allow me to contribute to you. Because one of the things you need to know is that people cannot contribute to you if you don't allow them. You know, there are times when I hear people say, well, I didn't get anything out of that program. Well, I have gotten something out of just about every program that I've ever attended. I think I've only left 2 events in the thousands that I have attended. Only 2 I left. I remember exactly what they were. And basically I left because we were so out of sync with, you know, our belief system, and we were very, very different. I knew I wasn't going to allow them to contribute to me. So why waste their time, waste my time? So you're here. So let's commit that you are not only going to listen, take some really good notes, maybe listen to this with other people a little bit later, but also that you are going to be doing some of the exercises and all the exercises that I'm going to be recommending. Okay, fantastic. So let's just go through money for a little bit. What I have found out in the last 36 years of being in thousands and thousands of rooms with many entrepreneurs, business people, and from all over the world, different nationalities and all kinds of different people, is that we've all literally been programmed and have what we call a deservability level. There is a level that we all have of how much do we feel that we really deserve? How much is it that we really can have? What is it that, what kind of love, what kind of finances, work and living our dreams? So our deservability level is going to go to a lot higher after doing the exercises that I'm going to recommend. Now, remember, there's 3 steps to money. Are you in the process of making money, in the process of keeping money, or growing money that you manage to keep? And it's really important for you to know in which of those stages you are in so that you can learn from the proper people. In our Money and You program and in our Business School for Entrepreneurs, we do our best to cover all 3 areas. And one of the things that is so productive in all the work that we do is that we get people to cooperate with each other, to contribute to each other. So then if you're just in the process of making it, you can learn from people that have already made quite a bit and are in the process of growing and possibly are very wealthy, very rich, and some of them billionaires. That's what our network has. It has a lot of people that are extremely successful that are willing to support you. So one of the ways that I can support you right now is by you having an understanding that you need to know yourself inside and out about the subject called money. So like, for instance, if you are a master of health, you are a master of bodybuilding, you are a master of business, one of the things that probably makes you a master is the awareness that you have of just about everything that happens in your industry, about just about everything that happens in your body. Like, for instance, for me, when I'm not feeling really well, when I'm a little bit out of kilter, short of me just having gotten off of an airplane where I flew for 17, 20, 24 hours, you know, I am really clear that I know myself really, really well. And that's because I am willing to take a look and to know myself. A lot of people don't do this around money. So what we are going to do, we're going to do some exercises that's going to give you a picture so that you're no longer curious or you are a mystery to yourself about the money psychology that you have. And what I like to do is I like to ask you, please, and this is being watched by people from all around the world. So hello to my graduates. We were just in India. We did a Money and You program there. I was just in Australia. We're going back to Australia to do Money and You there. And of course, you know, I'm a Southern California girl. So, you know, I hang around in a lot of circles in California. But I also want to say hello to my friends in Croatia and Belgium, in the UK. Hi, everyone. And of course, my Canadians, my South Americans, and of course, ni hao ma to all my Chinese friends all around China and Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Cambodia and Thailand, and of course, Brunei. I never like to forget Brunei, Hong Kong, one of my favorite cities in the world, and Taiwan. So we pretty much have the whole world. And what I want to do is I want to really acknowledge you for being here. And I want you to take into consideration what parts of the world you are from, because you have been trained, you have been hypnotized, you have been taught how to think about money, finances, and business. So we're going to cover those areas today. So what I want you to know is that whether you grew up in a traditional family, and what traditional means that you had a mother, father, or a single mom, you know, mother figure, parent figure, or whether you were raised in a beautiful home with other children, in foster homes, and wherever you were raised, in your subconscious, you have a parent figure. You learned about money from either a man or a woman or an uncle or an auntie. Somewhere you learned about money, from a tribe, from your religious background. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some exercises. And I'm going to ask you to take the time on a weekend, or and if you can, get together with some groups of people. And What I'm going to do is I am going to create a Facebook page for all the people that have done Money and Me. I'm going to be doing that soon. And as you can see below my name, there is an email address, info@moneyandyou.com. So what you're going to do is you're going to send me an email, and or if you are connecting through the Aware Show, you're going to send an email to them that they will forward to me, where you will have an opportunity to be able to be in communication with me, so that when I put out the private Facebook, it's going to be a close group, because I want people to have done this work in order to contribute and communicate with each other. So there's going to be a Money and Me Facebook page where you have an opportunity to connect with people and possibly create communities of a support group that will help you with this, that you all would have had similar experiences and you would have done the exercises. Now, I know that there's going to be quite a few friends of mine that are going to be watching this that have done this work before. And if you have done it, I want you to redo it in a whole new way, because I actually redo it too. Whenever I get stuck and or something is happening, I am not being paid on time, or I have a learning experience around money, what I do is I go back and I do these exercises. So I want to make sure that you also get used to doing this at least once a year, at least maybe, every couple of years, but like a refresher. So you're going to get some paper that you're going to be throwing out at the end. So don't use, a beautiful journal that you have, because you're going to be tearing off the pages. So it's better if maybe recycle paper that you use that you can throw out later. So on the first thing we're going to do is we're going to discover our subconscious beliefs and our subconscious conditioning by first finding out what we have inside about the beliefs that your mother had about money. It's not really what she had, but what you perceive her to have had. So unless you are doing this process with your mother, and your mother can confirm that yes, everything that you have in your subconscious is true, it's actually what you perceive. We're looking at the perceptions, we're looking at the illusions, we're looking at the things that you think were that your subconscious picked up, and that now you're going to be bringing up to your conscious mind. So on the top of the page, you're going to put my mother's most negative thoughts about money. We're not going to talk about the positive thoughts for now. We're going to talk about the negative thoughts about money that she had. And what you're going to take about 3 hours, and possibly you're going to do this with friends, and possibly later you can connect with people in Facebook and continue this work with each other, because that's what we did. Robert Kiyosaki, Randolph Kraft of Hawaii, Blair Singer, that I think he still trains people through Peaks Potential and other organizations. We train him to train trainers. He continues, with that work, and that's our technology that he continues with it. And it's okay. We approve certain people in doing that. And then there's also as the learning technology that allows us to be able to have such an impact on people. That's why we've been around for about 36 years. It's because we also have done the subconscious work, deep, deep work. So all these guys and girls, a bunch of girls also did it. And so we all did this exercise. What is my mother's most negative thoughts about money? And we'd write and we'd write and we'd write whatever it is that you believe. And it's almost like automatic writing. Remember, your subconscious is like a computer. And when you ask a question of it and you're willing to write it down without blocking it, without judging it, without trying to fix it, you're going to get what is being held in your subconscious. So my mother's most negative thoughts about money, you write, you write, you write, you write. And then you go to another page, and on the top of it, you write, my father's most negative thoughts about money are, and then you write and write and write and write and write. And at the end of each one of them, you're going to write, my mother's or my father's most negative thought about money is, and then you just write that thought, and then you kind of circle that. We're going to be coming back to these pages. So right now, we are on the search. We are on the exploratory. We are now looking at what's really happening. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, I don't want to judge my mom like this. I'm really kind of blocked. If you are blocked, you actually can write an exercise that says, the reason I am blocking this exercise is, and begin to write it. And it could be things like, I don't believe it. I don't think it's this easy. This looks really silly to me. Oh, how stupid this is. I don't think this really works. Well, I want you to know that I not only personally have social proof that this works, but many of the people, if you go to moneyandyou.com, you will see many of the notable, you click on there and you will see many of the notable graduates that have done the Money and You program. But I also know, see, Money and You, the 3.5-day program, will support people in clearing quite a bit of this work, quite a bit of these blocks automatically through the process of the games themselves and all the different things that we do in that work. But right now, we want what my friend Bernie Dorman calls cash money now. Money now, money. Okay, so right now, this is going to help you clear cash flow. If people owe you money, believe me, if you do the exercises, it's really going to help. It's going to start clearing the block so that you begin to receive more and your deservability level will get much higher. So now you have your mother, you have your father. Now what I want you to do is I want you to write what you learn in school. My most negative thoughts about money that I got in school are, and write down things that you may have heard as you were a student, as you were learning. And then you go to the next page. And remember, you can do it in the back. It doesn't matter. You're going to be throwing these out. It doesn't matter if it's messy. You don't need to be neat. What we're doing is we're emptying your subconscious. We're getting a pattern of thinking that you have about money. So then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and write one that says the most negative thoughts I learned or got from religion, from my church, from my spiritual leaders, if you have such a thing. What we're looking for here is what you got when you were young, and I can tell many stories here, but I am not going to go into many of those. I have a very long version of Money and Me that I can share with you later, but right now I'm going to cut on the stories and just let you know, just for you to know that I have had some profound distinctions that I learned from having grown up in Chile until I was 12 years old in a Catholic country. And some of the beliefs and some of the thoughts that I manufacture from just watching, you know, the people around me, and also this whole penance and, you know, bishops and things. So what I want you to know is that there is probably something in there, if you were even close to people that were religious or spiritual, you must have picked up some thoughts. There are certain religions that are much stronger than others. So, you know, this is just a blanket statement. Just begin to write down. And always the last one is the most negative thoughts I learned from church or from my religious, you know, leaders is, and you write that down. And now what I want you to do is I want you to start writing down on another page the most negative experiences you have had about money. And this is really, really important for you to do, because what happens is that many of us have had we block things. You know, I want you to start going all the way back to maybe you were even bullied over money. And it's so interesting because when I grew up, the kids were not bullied. I mean, oh my God, I can't even imagine what would have happened to the kids when I grew up if people had found out that they were bullying other kids. It was just not something that was known in Chile when I grew up. Probably happens now, but it did then. And so, you know, when I started doing this work with so many Americans, you know, there was this whole thing about people used to bully them over money. Another one that's terrible, that's really bad, is divorces. And these are really, really intense because it has to do with people that you love, with child, with alimony, with money related to children and to spouses and to ex-spouses and people taking things away from you. You having to give up your hard-earned money for someone, and the anchors that get created Because remember, you can only anchor things very deeply when you are in extreme pain or extreme pleasure. When you're really happy, like when I'm really, really happy, I go, yes, yes, I'm going to anchor this moment. I'm going to anchor this moment. I purposely anchor myself. I do that every time I am mega, mega happy. And when I'm very, very sad, like if I have lost a beloved or I am devastated about something, I am so careful about the things that I say to myself. You do not want to be making some major decisions like, I'll never love again. I'm never going to trust again. I am, so BROKE that I'm never going to blah, blah, blah. Now, notice that I didn't use the word BROKE unless I was sharing with you that I broke a leg or something, or I broke a chair, or I broke a glass. That the thing that you say to yourself from now on, as you begin to do these exercises, you will see that it is so important for you to be very diligent with how you speak to yourself. So you never say that you are BROKE. You say, I am temporarily out of cash, because that is the truth. If that is what is happening to you, if you're just temporarily out of cash flow, because if you look around your home, if you look around, I am sure that you have plenty that you could go ahead and trade or sell or do something with. You're much wealthier than you think you are. And as you begin to do these exercises, this will start being cleared. So now you have done now your most negative experiences around money. I want you to dig. And if you get sad, if you get emotionally, feelings start coming up, it's okay for you to have them. What I want you to do is just write down those feelings. Just write. It's almost like automatic writing. And then what you do is you write down the most negative experience I've had around money or finances or business, something that represents money to you. You write that down. And then what you begin to do is you are now beginning to kind of take a look at your subconscious, so to speak. Now what I want you to do is the last exercise on this one is my most negative thoughts around money or about money. And you begin to write all of your negative thoughts. Now, you could have written them already when you did the most negative thoughts that you have. Or the most negative experiences that you had around money, business, or finances. So you may have already expressed that, but do it again, write it down again. Do write the most negative thought I have about money. Write. And then finally, what I want you to do is I want you to write the most negative thought I have about money. And we're going to do something with that a little bit later, so you hold on to that. So now you're beginning to have this picture that you might be surprised. And if you're doing this with friends and with a little group, what you want to do is you want to talk it over. And don't try to make yourself feel better. Please don't go out smoking. Don't go out drinking. Don't have a beer when you're doing this. Don't have a glass of wine. This is not about making yourself feel better. As a matter of fact, the more sober that you are, maybe a little hungry, a little grouchy, do it so that you really feel these feelings. You can celebrate later. Right now, what we want to do is bring up the uncomfortableness. Then what I want you to do is we are going to create a chart. And this particular chart is going to be the chart of the money that you have had. So what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and write the years. The years you can, on this side, on the vertical side, you can write the years from the time that you were born all the way down. And then what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and write the amount of money. And so what you're going to do is like how much, like when you were, oh, I'm sorry. It's the other way around. It's actually, hold on. My brain is not working. Oh my God, it doesn't matter. This is what I want you to do. So I want you to go back and I want you to just think from the time you were little, just begin to write a chart of the money experiences that you have. So when you were little, you probably had very little money, and then maybe you got a paper route, you started making a little money, and then you didn't make any money. Then maybe you got some jobs like I did. I had 3 jobs in high school, started making a little bit more money. And then, you know, and then I went to school, and then it really went down because I was really in debt as I was going to school and paying college and paying court reporting school and spending a lot of money. And then, of course, I got a job as an official court reporter. I started making a lot of money. That was a really well-paying job. And then I retired from that. And then you kind of like are writing a money chart, a graph. And I want you to begin to really notice the incidents that occurred when you are low. Now, of course, when you're going through school and paying for things, that's one thing that occurs. But when you might start seeing what we call a drama hook in Money and You, we have a saying where you have like a drama hook, and in Money and You, you begin to really discover those. It's really interesting in the program. And I don't want to go and give you some of the secrets for Money and You. I really, for Money and You graduates, I know you're laughing right now, but for those of you that are planning to attend, or we inspire you to attend Money and You, you will see there's a whole conversation about money hooks in there. So drama hook, and a lot of them are around money. So it's drama hooks that maybe that's how you create it. So now you have a chart in how you're doing today. So it's today, are you really high, or are you medium, are you low? Have you lost everything? Are you the best you've ever done, the most? And this is what we call automatic money. See, ideally, what we are wanting to do is we want to discover, and Money and You, even though we don't cover like what is the number that you have in your mind and in your head about what is your financial independence. What I want you to know is I want you to see that there is a figure that you probably have created when you were young on what financial independence meant to you. What does it mean for you to be financially independent? And I have made up different figures at different times. I remember one of my favorite figures is $25,000 a month. I loved that figure. It was so great. It was just so big when I first made it up. And then when I reached it, it was like, yes, you know, it's like, I was just so happy. And then I have created different things. I have created, okay, how much is my business going to be worth? What is the legacy that I'm leaving? What are the different things that I can automate, that I can be sold and can be, you know, sold or packaged or receive royalties? There's different things that as you get more and more sophisticated, you're going to create. But that is part of your money psychology. That's the part of your money thing. So you're going to have this graph, and then finally you're going to write a money biography. And this is really, really important. You're literally going to now write a biography. You're going to write everything now. You have a lot of information after you have found out what your most negative thoughts about money are, and this would have taken hours. You know, just really write and write and write. You would have done your money graph. You would have remembered this. Now you're beginning to know yourself. And now the money biography. You know, when I was 3 years old, it was the first time that money was given to me. I remember blah, blah, blah. I mean, the stories that I had as a child. I mean, again, this is a shorter version of Money and Me, so I will not take the time to tell all the stories. But one of the things that I did discover was how generous my mother is. My mother is so generous, and so is my auntie. In my family, 99% of the people in my family, including my grandfather, I had, oh my God, my grandfather on my mother's side was the most generous man. He adopted 2 children literally off the street. In those days in Chile, you know, children just were abandoned, and people just picked them up and made them family. There was no paperwork. You just fed them and took care of them. They became part of the family. This is the old-fashioned way. Many people do that around the world. You just collect family members because they need a place to live, and you have it and you share it. And so I discovered how generous my family is, how generous I love that. And I go, ooh, yes. You know, I feel so happy with the first time I did my money biography. But you need to just really write down just memories that are coming. Now, this is the time when you write both negative and positive, and it just is. Don't even call it too much negative or positive. You're just writing your money biography. And you just write. Now, that one you may want to keep. It's an interesting one. It's almost like a diary, you know, but you may not want to, because later we're going to be getting rid of all the other sheets that you were doing all the processes of clearing and getting clear. Now, Sandra Ray taught me this when I was 27 years old. And it was so interesting because I did so many exercises around money because my deservability level was very high when I was exchanging time, skills for money, which was, I was a very well high paid court reporter because I was an excellent top of the line court reporter. I got hired by the state of California, the city of Los Angeles, to be a court reporter in the criminal courts building, which was, you had to be like top. The test that they gave you was amazing. So that was easy for me. Of course I would be really well paid. And of course, who has bills when you're 25 years old? Not really. I paid off my school, and I paid off my wonderful boyfriend at the time that had paid in advance. So my school paid him back, paid everybody back. And then I had plenty of money still left. So what ended up happening for me, and by the way, I was doing something which I didn't know at the time, which was I was really giving out money and appreciating and being grateful, and then it just kept coming back. The law of reciprocity is so strong when it comes to money and cash flow. What happens is that when people have challenges around money, they begin to really hold on to it. Don't do that. You still need to give your 10% tithing. You still need to contribute time and energy. And when I had my only big learning experience around money during the financial crisis of Asia, 97, 98, I remember I wanted to hold on so much, and I didn't. I still kept giving. I still kept contributing. And even though I had to pay quite a bit back, because I chose to do that because I didn't want to bankrupt the business that held a thing called Money and You, because I knew all these principles. I actually saw in the toughest time, financial time for me, that it was absolutely necessary for me to outflow. And I remember one of the most lovely things that happened for me, which I thought about keep doing it, but right now, what income generating activities are you involved in? See, some of you don't have enough money because you don't understand leverage, and you don't spend enough time on income generating activities. So when I was coming out of my financial crisis, I was very clear that I needed to capitalize my business and also pay people back. And so when it came to Christmas time, I was so used to buying lots of gifts for my friends and my family and my beloved. And there were a couple of years where I got to make gifts for friends. I won't go into a lot of the details, but I had so much fun making gifts because at the time I was making the choice to pay people back. And it was some of the most beautiful time. My friends actually really liked it. It was like, wow, DC, I really appreciate your homemade gift. I can tell you love me. I said, well, don't get used to it because this took a lot of time, but it was something that it was almost like a Zen exercise for me, because I was doing a lot of healing, because having the learning experience where I thought that I had lost everything, and I really hadn't. One of my mentors, Bill Gold, kept reminding me, you still have your business, you still own all the rights to the best programs on the planet, you still have your home, this beautiful home that I've had for nearly 30 years. I still have one Rolex watch, I had a beautiful car. I did not have it, but I was so used to huge amounts of money that at the time wasn't coming in. I was literally starting over, restarting. And so what happened was that I saw for the first time how it affected my self-esteem, how it affected my the way that I thought that people were seeing me. And actually, I lost some very close friends of mine that when I went through my learning experience, it brought up so many feelings for them because I had a program called Money and You. But it was a lesson that I was going through, and I came out of it. And of course, I have so much more than I had even prior to that. But what happened was that you need to understand that when you're going through money learning experiences, it really affects your spirit. That's why you don't want to use the word BROKE, because you don't want the core of you, the spirit of you, to get confused about a thing called money when you are already so wealthy. Because my new definition of wealth is to have access to resources, access to people that can capitalize your business, access to all of the different wisdom and masters and mentors and people around the world. You know, the Money and You graduates are very wealthy because they have access to amazing people. They have access to a global network, so that if you're not doing really well in your part of the world, you can move to other parts of the world that have Money and You graduates that will extend a hand to you. So that's my new definition of wealth, because that's what I have perceived in the last 36 plus years. Actually, it's longer than that. 36 years that I've been doing Money and You, and an additional 3 years that I've been working on myself. So it's actually 39 years. It's been almost 40 years. I started when I was 5. Actually, I started in my 20s, and it has been the most amazing process for me to see that people give money so much importance when it's really the decisions that they have made about themselves. So these exercises that I'm asking you to do, this biography and on all these writing exercises, is for you to have an opportunity to be able to really get to know yourself, and for you to be able to work on the different areas, the different ways of really clearing yourself when the different levels of deservability come out. So now what we're going to do with all of this work, if you have some friends, and again, we're going to have the Facebook, the Money and Me Facebook close group, you'll be able to connect there with people. And, you know, you can do Google Hangouts with them. They don't have to be recorded, you know, or if they're recorded, make sure that you cut them out of, you know, YouTube and everything else. And so that you can just talk to each other. You can have up to 10 people in a group, and you can all be on video together. And then you can work with people from around the world. So what I want you to know is that it's really important for you to allow yourself to get support around this. Okay, so you would have done all these exercises, and then you're going to kind of put them aside. And this might take you weeks, you know, it might take you a little while. And what I want you to do is I want you to do all of that I just have said to you. And there's one more document that you're going to send me an email to info@moneyandyou.com. And I am going to send you a thing called an integrity checklist. This is pure cash. I got a copy of my first integrity checklist from the EST organization back in the 70s. And it is a list of things that you need to do to complete broken agreements and broken relationships. And the first one actually says for you to complete any broken communications that you have out there with people that maybe you were angry with, they were angry with you, there was a bad breakup, and that can take a while. So your integrity checklist is actually could take a while, but you will see that as you do more clearing, the more that you will begin to outflow and inflow, outflow and inflow. As you begin to do all those exercises, you will begin to see different decisions that you have made. You will begin to see your deservability level. You will begin to see that, okay, is this something that I can really handle? Can I really handle being that wealthy? Can I really handle being that happy? What is it that I really want in relationship to relationships with another human being, no matter what your sexual orientation is? If you're going to partner up with someone, You need to really know each other's money patterns. You need to read to each other's money biographies. Don't go into all the negativity. We would have torn that out. But you may want to talk about the things that maybe you used to do and now that you're doing and how you're empowering yourself. So the integrity checklist is going to require for you to do things as little as cleaning out your closet, recycling some of those clothes. And even if you don't recycle them, because some of that blue jean skirt is probably going to be worth a fortune. They come and go, they come and go. I still miss the most beautiful blue jean skirt that I could have still worn that I had in my 20s that I remember. I don't understand why I was recycling it, because I loved it so much. And I swear to God, I'm still looking for a skirt that looks like that. Anyway, so there's certain things, but you need to wash and you need to clean the energy if you're really attached to something. But I highly recommend, and now you're beginning to see I'm a bit of a rat pack, but in my garage, I have paperwork from my business school for entrepreneurs, which was the mother program of Money and You. I still have my workbook. I still have all kinds of things that in my garage and in other places that I have saved. But this is paperwork and books and things like that, not clothes. So one of the things that you need to do is you need to clean your car. You need to clean your garage. You need to kind of like make space, get your cupboards, get rid of, old food in your refrigerator. You're beginning to recycle. There will be a whole list in there of things for you to do, to write to people, to acknowledge people, to thank people, and things like that. So this integrity checklist will now begin to get you into a different place. And now we're going to go into the fun part. So the fun part is that you're going to get together with a group of people that would have done this exercise. Please do not take anyone on this special day that hasn't done these exercises. And the reason is because they probably are not going to understand what you're doing. So you're going to set aside a day, hopefully a Saturday or a Sunday, whatever works for you. You want it to be on the weekend, just because some people still have jobs and they still need to, show up for work. But if not, you can do it on a weekday. It's up to you, to your group. Take 2 people, 4 people, 6 people. You're going to rent a beautiful limousine for the day, for the whole day. It's going to pick you up at home, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's going to take you all the way through the day. You're going to have a very special day. You're going to dress beautifully. You're going to wear your best clothes. You're going to wear your best jewelry, and you're going to take a little pack with you because, and you may not want to do your hair right away, because one of the first places we're going to go is going to be to a spa. You don't have to be there all day. You're just going to be there for a few hours. You're going to get maybe a massage. All of you are going to agree to this together. You're going to maybe get pedicure, manicure. You're going to maybe sit in the bubbly water, and you're going to have a great time. And so you're going to take those extra gym clothes or whatever. Or you can start off with that if you go directly to that, but you're going to take beautiful clothes to change into or have your hair done. It's going to be a treat day. Then you're going to go to a beautiful lunch. It has to be a beautiful lunch. You can choose whether you want to have a really beautiful lunch or a really beautiful dinner. You're going to go to a restaurant that even if you can't afford the main meals, you can have a little salad, you can have a little Perrier, a little water, you can have a little glass of wine or something, but you don't want to intoxicate yourself too much. Just a little bit, because you want to be very aware. You want to be very awake to what may be happening that day. And for you to be writing, you're going to take a book with you where you're going to be writing your reactions and you're going to be talking to each other. Then what I want you to do is, when you're all dressed up and you have this beautiful limousine, I want you to pull up in front of one of the most expensive jewelry stores that you can find in your city. Now, I know for a fact that there is going to be people that are going to be listening to this, watching this, that are very wealthy. So for you, it's not a big stretch for you to do this. It's what you do all the time. So then you need to think of something much bigger. Maybe rent a jet, go to another country, or do something that is going to be a stretch for you. Because I know that no matter how much money people have, there's always something that they can stretch more. Now, please, This is where the judgments start coming in. I've been doing this for a long, long time, and I know what starts coming into the room. I want you to take some deep breath. This is not you having somebody teaching you how to be spoiled. The purpose of the day is to bring up feelings for you of possibly lack of deservability and how you really feel about things that you've seen every day. So you're going to go to the most expensive jewelry shop. Most likely it's going to have a guard at the door, or it's going to have something that you need to bring. The best shops have that. They do. If they don't have that, you may want to look for one of those. So you may want to go to the next big city that will have that. Okay. So you're going to knock, ring the bell, or they'll let you in, and you're going to go in and you're going to look at everything. Go for the most expensive, the biggest bling in there, the diamonds, the big watches. And then you're going to take a few deep breaths, very, very center. Then you're going to say, can you please show me what you have in the back? Okay. Can you please show me what you have in the back? And so all jewelry stores like that will have a back room. And depending on their security, they may ask you for your driver's license. They may ask you for your passport. They need to have identification. They're not just going to take anyone in there, and some of them may even frisk you. They may ask you to leave your purse. I mean, now we're moving into where they have the vault in the back. And if you have enough of centeredness about you, you will get in there. It's really easy now. When we were doing these exercises in the 80s, in the 70s, and the 80s, if now they have all these, internet billionaires and all of these people that you can never tell how rich they are, except maybe by their demeanor. So, now it's easy for people to just ask and they will take you in the back. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to go back there, and I want you to try it on the most expensive watches, the most expensive jewelry. And I won't go into some of my stories because that will take too long, but I want to tell you something that I used to have all these judgments about people that were very expensive jewelry. Long story. I lived in Singapore for 4 years, and lots of that happens there. And of course, Malaysia and some of the other countries. And I was honored, one of my mentors and one of the most beautiful humanitarians, Dr. Jenny Tay, now Dr. John. She exposed me to some of the most beautiful things on the planet, beautiful watches, beautiful everything. And so one of the things that I began to have the opportunity to see how beautiful this really was. Would I buy those? I don't think so. I just wouldn't. So it's not about the money. It's just what is it that I would buy or wear or not wear, honestly. And so until hunger and poverty exist on planet Earth, I probably will not do that. And it's not a judgment. I'm very clear about it. But I had to get to this place of where I was clear for me. And that's what I want for you. So you're going to try on this jewelry. You're going to go on and just feel what you feel, whether you're embarrassed, whether like some of the feelings that I had was like, oh my God, how can I possibly wear this with all of the starving children? It's like one of these could feed, 100,000 kids, to give them food at least for a day, just my brain. And it was very good for me to get very present to those judgments, to the thoughts, because I had judgments of people when I saw them wearing that. And the more judgments that you let go, the more deservability that you're building. That's what we're doing on this day. Then I want you to go from there. You don't need to buy. People shop all the time, window shop all the time. This is nobody's expecting you to buy anything. Then you go to the most beautiful, beautiful, beautiful dress shop, or for men. Now for men, the best suits, of course, are made. And so maybe you may want to go to a tailor and have a conversation with them and be honest. If you don't have all the money right now, just say, right now, I don't have the cash to buy a $5,000 suit, but can you please tell me, what is it? Can you give me some distinctions? What makes a suit a $5,000 suit? And they'll show you the beautiful, beautiful silky wool and all the different materials that are, ooh, when you touch them, it's like, I used to make fun of my girlfriends. I used to buy really expensive sheets until I slept in really expensive sheets. It's like, and you can get them at a great price. It's always expensive sheet sales, believe me. You don't have to have a lot of money to have the best sheets on the planet, but I learned really fast. Same thing with beautiful suits and beautiful dresses. For women, it's interesting. You can find really expensive clothes that you can try on, and just try on, you know, something that's worth way beyond of what anything that you have tried on before. Again, you get out of that shop, you talk things over, you write things over, how you're feeling, and whether you're going to go to dinner afterwards and go to the most elegant, the most beautiful, the one where they serve you, you know, you possibly, you know, we used to save money way back in the days to go to places like that. We used to go to San Francisco to some of the best restaurants. We were not used to having $1,000 bill, but we used to share it amongst ourselves and prepare ourselves for this kind of clearing, for this kind of work. You know, it was so much fun to do. And one of my friends who's no longer with us, his name was John David. John David was very wealthy, but he used to go along with us and teach us all these things. And sometimes he used to end up paying for all the things that we were so excited we had saved time. We used to say, no, John David, no, we'll pay for it. We have the money. He says, no, come on, you guys, I'm richer than God. I can pay for this. But he wouldn't do that until the very last minute. And I used to say, oh, I really want to be able to do stuff like that, like just like he did. And I have been very blessed to doing that. You know, one of the things that really shows prosperity consciousness too is when you're willing to give. And in the old days, we used to like rent Rolls Royces in San Francisco and then go through the bridge. And it used to cost $1 to go through the Golden Gate Bridge. And then we would like pay like for 20 cars behind you. And then, you know, so the people as they were driving through, they would say, oh, that car over there pay for you. They pay for you. And then all these people would catch up and just go, yes, you made their day by just paying a $1 toll fee. Just think about doing things like that. Anyway, I could tell you many more exercises, but I want to bring you back to this day. Well, actually, you can do that on that day if you're in a place that has bridges and tolls. But also one of the things we used to do when we used to rent these amazing cars like a Rolls, we used to just give money out like dollars. And then people would just go crazy over $1. It was such an exercise in giving. But on this dinner, as you're finishing up the dinner, just we want you to have the gratitude for the fact that you're learning these tools, that you're learning how to do this work, that you're learning all about yourself and this day. And you probably are going to have to go home and take a shower. You're going to have to go and just kind of like, because you would have had washed the clothes that you wore, dry clean the clothes that you wore that day, because there would have been a lot of feelings. And if you didn't have a lot of feelings that day, then you didn't push yourself enough. Then you need to create a whole other day for yourself. You can also do this often whenever you feel like it. One of the things I love to do sometimes, and I don't talk about this very much, but I feel compelled to do it. Like sometimes I was at an IHOP in Oceanside one morning. I was on my way to do something there. And it was, I think it was Flag Day or Veterans Day. Oh yes, it was Veterans Day. And this IHOP, which is a pancake house here in America for those of you overseas, is called IHOP. And they have all kinds of pancakes and yummy breakfast food. And I went in there to have some pancakes. And then on my way out, there were 5 girls that you could tell they were young Marines. They were near, in Oceanside, we're near a big Marine base. So there were a lot of military families there. And they were really excited and they were really beautiful. So they were getting ready to pay. And I said, oh, are you girls in the military? They go, yes, ma'am. I said, are you in the Marines? Yes, ma'am. And they were so adorable and so beautiful, really. Oh my God, they were buffed and gorgeous. And then I said, you know what I like to do, being that it's Veteran Days? And they'd say, what? And I said, I like to pay for your breakfast bill. And they said, no, you don't have to do that. I said, yes, I do have to do that. I said, I really want to thank you for your military service. I really want to just let me treat you. I can afford whatever it is. I mean, and they said, we ate a lot, ma'am. We ate a lot. And I said, no problem. You just go and have a beautiful day. Just know that many of us thank you for your service, and just go. And they said, what, do you want anything, ma'am? Do you want us to do you a favor? Do you want us to give you our phone number, pay you back? And I said, no, I want you to just go. I want you to have a beautiful day. They were so excited. The bill was something like $105, $110. Actually, they had eaten quite a bit, because that's, IHOP is not that expensive, but it didn't matter to me. They were so happy. So that's something that you can do all the time. You see a family that look like they're struggling to pay something, just pay for it. You will find that you will begin to feel more and more wealthy. So you would have done that day after you would have done all the exercises. Then I need you to go back and do more writing after that day. I need you to just keep writing and writing and writing, and just how you felt that day. How maybe you were embarrassed. What feelings did it bring up? And then if it didn't bring up a lot of feelings, you have to be really honest. And then you need to be willing to go ahead and have another day where you actually allow yourself to go to a whole other level. And I have many stories about this, but one that used to bring up a lot of feelings for me, and I did quite a bit of exercise, was having a homeless night when I was very young. Where in San Diego, for those of you that live in San Diego, where Horton Plaza is now, that used to be a park filled with what they used to call bums. In the 1980, they were not called homeless. They were called bums, where people drank a lot and they were homeless. That's what they really were. And I spent the night there. It was an amazing night where I confronted my biggest fear. Being a beautiful young girl, you know what it would be like. Of course, I didn't sleep all night, and I made friends really quickly and found my little tribe and got drunk with them. In those days, I drank. I haven't drank for many, many years, but it was a good exercise. And when I got back home, I was literally kissing the ground. It was one of the best exercises I ever did. I also did an exercise with the church, with the Catholic Church, so that I could go through a process of forgiving them, which they really did need forgiveness, but forgive myself for the judgments I had had when I released those judgments. And just to tell you very quickly, in case you want to know an example, what I did was I went into a Catholic church and went on a Saturday evening and went to, I don't know, for those of you that may not be familiar, we do these confessions. And then the next day, of course, you go to and receive communion. And one of the things that I did on Saturday night, and I was by then a student of the Course in Miracles. I pretty much, you know, you usually say, you know, the date of your last confession, and then you confess whatever. So I literally kneel next to this real priest, and I took a deep breath, and I said, I have nothing to confess because I am innocent. And there was like this, whoa, like, okay, what is this? And then I got up and I said, thank you, Father. And I got up and I left. Well, I didn't just get up and leave. I thought that lightning was going to hit me. I had rubber legs. I could hardly walk. I was breathing so rough. I could not believe, as I was walking out of that church, the beliefs that were coming up for me. And it was so profoundly powerful for me. I wrote a lot. I forgave a lot. I forgave myself a lot. And ever since then, I have such respect and honoring of the church. I know that they do the work that they do. There's nothing for me to judge. And now, of course, we have the most wonderful Pope. I keep thinking, okay, this is all the Catholics around the world that did a process like mine that finally have the most groovy, the most wonderful Pope in the whole universe. I just can't believe this Pope. I mean, he's even going through the financial messes of the church. He's cleaning it up. I really hope that he has a good bodyguard. But anyway, don't get me started on that part, because I have to tell you, it is such a wonderful affirmation of having this beautiful man that now is the leader of the whole Catholic Church. So one of the things that you need to do is you need to find your own buttons. This is what we're doing. We're finding our own buttons. So now what you're doing is you're healing inside, healing inside, healing inside. And now we go into the creation. Now you will have a clear mind. You will have now written all these things down. And I literally want you to go to the beach, go somewhere where you can burn all of those pages, all of those pages. The one that you may want to hang on to is the money biography, but if you feel compelled, you burn it. And you also burn, if you want, to the money graph. Believe me, you can always write another money biography. You will begin to let go. You just burn that and you just release it. You literally can be like a Hawaiian and say the word ho'oponopono. You can just let go. And then what will happen is that you will begin to be attracted to work like Money and You. Because in Money and You, we go through a series of exercises where you will do business, where you will do, how to build, how to structure, how to create the business success model. And then you will begin to see some of the decisions that maybe just the writing exercise didn't allow you to see, but as you're playing all these different games, you will go even deeper. I love for people that haven't done Money and You to do the Money and Me exercises and then come to the program. You can go to moneyandyou.com and look at all the different events that we have there. But one of the things that as you become more and more aware and as you become more and more familiar with this amazing clearing work that like people like Lisa and the Aware Show brings the most magnificent, masters that will teach you. And, we have the business success model that teaches you that you learn from masters. You create a niche through an aligned team, through leverage, through an aligned team. You create that through systems and rules of the game, and then you create synergy and you create results. That's what we go through in Money and You. So you begin to fill now that void with really powerful exercises like our program, and you begin to read beautiful books. I mean, I'm part of a book called Think and Grow Rich for Women that Sharon Lecter wrote. Read books like that. You're now beginning to fill yourself. Read the book Abundance by Diamandis, and the other gentleman, Kluger, it's a K name. Diamandis, I always remember his name. The book is called Abundance. It's because of all that's available now in the world. And you begin to notice as you now have released that part of yourself that you have created like a vacuum where you begin to really now get very clear, where are you in regards to money? Are you in the process of just making the money? It's okay if you're just making the money again. It's totally okay. You have the rest of your life. Then are you in the process of keeping the money that you managed to make? And stop taking risks with it. Of course, there is a whole process in our book, Money Making Systems, in the manual that Carol Dice and I wrote together. In that book, we start off with money, and you can allocate money for you to play with, for you to risk, but never, never, never risk all the money that you have. Whether you're a man or a woman, or even if you're rich, you don't want to be constantly risking, because that drama hook really scares aspects of you that then doesn't allow you to really start working on projects that are really good and beneficial, that can really expand and grow your money. Then you can, then are you in the process of growing the money that you manage to keep? If you're going to be an investor, now you have different distinctions on investing. And I'm working closely with the family bank game. I have these wonderful friends of mine that have created this family bank game. And one of the things that we're learning is how to create legacies. Now you begin to have a clear mind, a clear consciousness that will allow you to begin to grow money in a whole other way, to create systems, to begin to bring in the masters. I notice that the universe gives me little taps, that I follow clues as I'm getting ready to get wealthier and wealthier and wealthier. What happens is I begin to bring in different masters, different teachers, different experts that will teach me the next level that I need to learn. And it's always from their beingness for me of adding value to humanity. What a great time to be alive. Like, people now, it's very common, and it's very, you can adding value to humanity is such a cool thing to do now. Whereas when we started, we used to be called names, including hippies, you know, or then people used to say, well, they're hippies with money. Now we have hippies everywhere. It's like all of these socially responsible human beings. And, you know, and I was on a call. As you find out more about me, you will know that I'm now involved in renewable energy with one of the world's leading renewable energy green entrepreneurs, a gentleman by the name of Wang Ming. You'll find it as you go to my websites and things. And gosh, and he was having a conversation with this beautiful woman by the name of Sally Ann Ranney, R-A-N-N-E-Y. Her sweetheart is Ted Turner, and you know, they have amazing businesses that are socially responsible, that are adding value. And to be listening to Sally and to Wang Ming the other day on the Skype call that we had, it was like probably like being in the presence of Buckminster Fuller speaking to somebody like Einstein. Well, actually Wang Ming could be considered somebody like an Einstein in the future. He is the most remarkable engineer. He created the first solar valley. So, and Sally, my God, yes, she could win a Nobel Prize. So these two people were having this conversation about all of these solutions that are coming up on renewable energy. And as you know, my whole thing is about transforming educational systems around the world and eradicate poverty and hunger. And in our lifetime right now, my teacher, Lynn Twist, and many people keep track of these things. And we are on track for 30 years from now to have eradicated, abject poverty and hunger. And one of the things that occurs, though, is that because of renewable energy, it may be that it may take only 20 years. So what we're looking at in the world is that we're having this acceleration of goodness happening. And my friend the other day was showing this video about what does doing good really means. And if you want to go ahead and send me an email, I'll send, and maybe I'll post this. And somebody can remind me to post this in the Money and Me Facebook page. And it really is about how much good can we do? What is the good that we can do? And so now we have an opportunity to be able to work with people that are doing fantastic work, and you allow yourself to become wealthy and wealthier for you to also do good work. And now all of a sudden, we all are uplifting humanity's consciousness through socially responsible businesses, which is one of the reasons why I do this kind of hangouts, so that we can go ahead and create a world that works for many. So I have gone a little bit over time, and you can find me in Facebook. You can find me in many different beautiful, social media, DC Cordova. Make sure you like me. I love Dame DC Cordova is my fan page. And of course, the other one, I can't accept any more friends. But if once you request for you to become my friend, you automatically follow, and you will be able to see. I have my settings so that you can see everything, as if though you were my friend, and post as if though you were my friend. So I want to thank you so much for doing all the Money and Me exercises. I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to hearing how it went for you, and all the gains, all the wins. I have heard from years and years and years the wins that people have had from doing this work. So I know it's going to happen to you too if you do every step of the way. And then later in the Money and Me, Facebook page, I'll be able to give you some more exercises as you advance in this work. So thank you so much for being here. Send me any questions to info@moneyandyou.com. I'll get back to you, and have a beautiful, beautiful life. And I know that I'm going to see you somewhere. Make sure you say, I saw you at Money and Me, and we'll keep talking. So go to moneyandyou.com, moneyandyou.com, and do see us. Come to Money and You around the world. We love to have you with us. And then make sure that you mention, if you learned about us from the Aware Show, please make sure you mention this, because Lisa Gar is a great friend of mine, and I want to thank her for having opened up her network to us. I really, really appreciate that. So thank you very much. Aloha nui loa, as we say in Hawaii, and have a beautiful life, and see you soon somewhere in the world. Thank you. Bye-bye. Aloha.